Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Dead baby dumped in woman's arms in Portmore Mall. Police investigators are now awaiting the results of a postmortem as they probe the death of a days-old infant in Portmore, St. Catherine. Sources say that on Monday, the police were called to a store in Portmore Mall where the baby's body was found in a knapsack. According to reporters, a female officer clerk of a store in the mall was approached by a woman who gave her a knapsack to keep and told her that someone was coming for it. The employee smelled a foul odor coming from the knapsack and opened it, only to discover the body of an infant that was partially burnt and wrapped in a plastic bag. The police were summoned and subsequently saw the charred remains of a female infant. The body also had what appears to be lacerations to the right arm. A 22-year-old woman was later identified as the person who gave the baby to the office clerk. The woman told the police that she gave birth to the child on March 15 at the Spanish Town Hospital. This has since been confirmed by officials at the hospital. But investigators were unable to communicate with the baby's mother effectively as she appeared to be suffering from a mental condition. Man killed in motorcycle accident on Old Hope Road. One person died as a result of injuries received in a motorcycle accident along the Old Hope Road in Kingston on Sunday. Police have not yet revealed the name of the victim. Video circulating on social media showed the driver of the motorcycle and a woman pliant rider traveling along the Old Hope Road in an unsafe manner. The driver then lost control of the motorcycle and swerved into the opposite lane of traffic into an oncoming Toyota Probox. Both passengers were thrown from the motorcycle. It is not certain if the driver of the Probox sustained injuries in the incident. Mota Baruka criticized His Holiness as reactionary amid Monarchy debate. Renowned radio talk show host and dub poet Mota Baruka says Jamaica should have become a republic long ago and has criticized Prime Minister Andrew Holness for being reactionary on the issue of cutting ties with the British monarchy. He made the remarks to reporters as he joined demonstrators outside the British High Commission in St. Andrew on Tuesday to protest against the official visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to the island. The Prime Minister is the culprit because he could not prevent them from coming. He could not declare Jamaica as a republic. Mota Baruka called Holness one of the most reactionary Prime Minister Jamaica has ever seen. The dub point noted that Jamaica becoming a republic not going to change the price of food, but it has a psychological implication on the minds and consciousness of the people. He said it has an internal significance to how we view ourselves. Prince William and Kate are in Jamaica on a 3-day trip to the island, the visit part of the large trip to the Caribbean region that coincides with the 70th anniversary of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. The visit has been met with intense opposition from locals due to the role of British monarchy played in slavery. On Wednesday, Holness told the royals that Jamaica would be moving on and seeking to cut ties with the monarchy. Jamaica is moving on. In the face of their attempt to woo Jamaicans during their trip to the island, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were informed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Wednesday of the country's intention to cut ties with the royal family and become a republic. During a courtesy call with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Williams and Keith, Holness said in a short order, Jamaica will become a fully independent country. Jamaica is, as you would see, a country that is very proud of our history, very proud of what we have achieved, and we are moving on. Noting that the government intends to attain the necessary documents and engage in the relevant procedures to make this possible, Holness said the country aims to fulfill our true ambitions as an independent, developed, prosperous country. The Prime Minister added that there are unresolved issues with the nation, but said the couple's presence was an opportunity for those issues to be placed in context and be addressed as best as possible. Shortly after the courtesy call, the Duke and Duchess left the Chartwood Teachers College in St. Andrew, where they were expected to meet with Education Minister Favour Williams, along with students and researchers at the institution. Hospital crisis. Doctors at the state-run Conroe Regional Hospital in Montego Bay have expressed fright at the low levels of productivity there due to the chronic shortage of nurses. The nurses are leaving like flies. They are just flying out, and so we have a chronic shortage of nurses. Currently, we cannot do surgeries in Falmouth at night without moving mountains because there is not enough nursing staff to run the theater at night, one doctor stated. So, if you have an emergency and you are from a service like urology or orthopedics where you need the equipment that are in Falmouth, you will either have to not do the surgery or nurses are going to have to be reassigned from Conroe Regional. Before we have two sets of nurses at night, one at Cornwall and the other at Falmouth, the doctor explained. It is frightening because I have been doing everybody's job and there seems to be no hope of things improving. We have no hope. Not only is there a shortage of nurses affecting the doctors at the Type A hospital, but patients are also feeling the brunt of it because there have been a decrease in the quality of care they offered. In the accident and emergency unit, waiting time is longer than one nurse is serving 3 hours, and sometimes there is no vital nurse. Vital signs are important as the patient comes in because you need to know what it is that their body is dealing with to correctly triage them, the doctor shared. Now, when the A&E officer goes to see the patient and there are no vitals, you have no clue about this individual. Sometimes for 4 hours, there is no vital nurses, which means that everybody who comes into the physical hospital over that period does not have any vitals unless you clearly look like you are popped down and you go into trauma 1. Tired and overworked, doctors are now also being forced to take on the role of nurses to ensure that patients are being properly treated whenever they show up at Cornwall Regional. If there are no med nurses, then the doctors have to be administering medication themselves. That usually slows down the process, makes life more difficult, and makes waiting time much longer. Additionally, sometimes there is just two nurses on the ward, which means that you are not only going to get optimum care from the patients because the nurse is them tired and they cannot carry out the full plan. The chronic shortage has also been a problem, but it is very frightening now because the rate at which nurses are leaving is much higher. I know at least 6 nurses who have left the A&E department since January. I know another one who is also leaving, one doctor stated. Another doctor expressed dismay at the rate at which the nurses are leaving for better pastures. The rate of attrition is disheartening, especially given the main reason, a livable wage. Nurses have left, and within a short period of time, they have been able to afford the things that senior nurses and even other workers professionals in Jamaica have not been able to afford, such as an affordable home and a car, the doctor stated. But there have been talks across the hospital that interested nurses have applied to work at Cornwall Regional and have yet to be contacted, a doctor revealed. I heard some nurses saying that there are registered nurses who have applied to the Western Regional Health Authority and they have not heard back from the region. So there are nurses who are leaving and others who have applied to work and them not take them on. It is challenging because we just don't have enough nurses, and it is really upsetting to hear that nurses have applied and not been employed, said the frustrated doctor. When contacted by reporters, Senior Medical Officer at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, Dr. Derek Harvey, confirmed that there is indeed an alarming shortage of nurses at the facility. We certainly have had a high attrition as the number of trained nurses are leaving the system. Earlier this week, a specialist nurse came to me and said, "Doc, I'm leaving," Dr. Harvey said. With many of the hospital's specialist nurses opting for greener pastures, Dr. Harvey noted that the A&E department has been severely affected. Additionally, he pointed out that the hospital's operating theaters are also buttered under pressure due to this factor. I was on vacation in December and I got to understand that 4 trained emergency nurses went off, and since then another 2 have left. So in terms of having trained specialist nurses for A&E, the numbers have certainly decreased, lamented Dr. Harvey. There are good days when there is adequate staffing, but there are days when you find that one nurse is covering more than one area, so yes, that impacts the quality of care you get, he reported. Dr. Harvey continued, "It is really putting a strain on the staff to be covering 2 emergency operating theaters full-time. I will say that is an issue." Delta Sports aiming to make a deep impact on Jamaica's sporting landscape. Delta Sports, a subsidiary of Delta Shield Group of companies, says it is gearing up to give back to Jamaica's sports fraternity with the hopes of making a big impact in the near future. At a recent soft launch of the Delta Sports subsidiary, the founder Glenroy Walker expressed that the company has been quietly making their impact on the sporting landscape in recent months. We have been doing this through sponsorship and other philanthropic activities to various schools and sporting organizations across the country, he said. Currently, we adopted the Alphonsus Davis High School for Girls track and field team, where we provide them with gears needed for their meets and operation. We have been doing collaborative efforts with other businesses in and around the community as well as internationally. The impact has extended beyond the field of play as they seek to improve all areas of life for the athletes. Delta Sports has a flagship store in Mandeville from where they distribute their equipment, which has also impacted Alphonsus Davis High School in a way that supersedes sports. We engage the school in their feeding program for the school, wire their surveillance system, and help program a coursework in the educational system, said Walker, who is a past student of Alphonsus Davis High. The head coach of the Alphonsus Davis track team, Megan Wilson Copeland, outlined the ways that Delta Sports have impacted her program in the last few years. Delta Sports has contributed financially to the Alphonsus Davis track team since 2018. They contributed towards the girls' boarding before they moved onto the school campus, and before the pandemic, they continued to our team attending the Penn Release in Philadelphia, he said. Delta Sports also donates food items that help with feeding the athletes while they are on campus. We have students, athletes that have gone on scholarships overseas, and they played an important part in contributing to the financial aspect of the athletes' needs. Copeland spoke of the importance of the contribution made by Walker and Delta Sports to the school. The contribution is very important and well needed because the Alphonsus Davis High is not in a position to help the student athletes as they would want to because not enough money is allocated for sports. Therefore, we have to depend on outside sources, and so we welcome the support and must say a big thank you to Glenroy Walker, the head of Delta Shield. Jamaica gets 24,000 bags of fertilizers worth $122 million from Morocco. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. says Morocco's donation of 24,000 bags of fertilizer to Jamaica is an indication of the strong bilateral relationship between both countries. Charles was addressing a virtual media briefing on Wednesday, also disclosed that the gift was worth $122 million and could not have come at a better time, noting the farmers continue to face challenges relating to the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the global increase in prices for agricultural inputs. Charles said the donation forms part of a larger or more substantive technical assistance program that will examine Jamaica's soil fertility to address some of the underlying issues within the farming sector. We can look at this within the context of our bilateral relationships with Morocco. The minister said the assistance program will also provide technical training in soil fertility analysis for some of our staff, noting that the ministry will be taking an epicureal approach to agriculture going forward. The fertilizer donation will be managed by the Rural Agricultural Development Authority (RADA) and the Jamaica Agricultural Society (JAS). This donation is very timely and will go a long way in assisting our farmers, he explained, indicating that while the reopening of the entertainment sector, as well as the removal of the Disaster Risk Management Act, some of the more popular agricultural shows will be making a comeback in 2022. He cited the ever-popular Dembe Agricultural and Industrial Show, Emancipation Weekend, Mount Pelo Agricultural Show, Easter Monday, AgroFest Labor Day Weekend, and the St. Mary Agricultural Show, Easter Monday. These are huge shows that not only attract locals but overseas visitors as well. These shows have not been held for the past 2 years due to COVID-19, resulting in massive loss of potential revenue. Dembe, for example, is the biggest agricultural show in the English-speaking Caribbean, the minister stated. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.